All right, welcome to Coffee with the Kays. We are in season 3 now. It's a new year.
Yay.
All right,
Happy
cheers.
Cheers.
Happy New Year. All right. Oh man, that was good. Okay, so let's talk about us. These are the Kays. We are the Kays.
This is coffee.
This is coffee,
and
you are having coffee with the Kays.
Yes.
All right, Ron Kaye, Kyle Kaye, Josh Kaye. If you can't tell, we're all related. Just look a little
That's
bit
what happens
alike.
after 35 years of marriage.
I think that's
We
what
start
happens. Everybody
looking
starts looking alike.
There we go. So this is our podcast. We talk about coffee, we talk about football, and we talk about music. So
Yes.
yeah, so welcome if this is the first time you're listening, and if it is the first time, hey, it's
Tell
a
your
great
friends.
episode. Tell everybody about it. That's right.
Yes.
Check out our other episodes. Apparently they're hilarious.
They're
They
funny.
are.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
I've
hear.
been going back and listening.
We've been
to-
going back,
Yes.
not just
We've been going back. And
I took it upon myself.
I shouldered the burden. But it's been so fun. I forgot that some of them are really, really
Oh,
funny.
in the history in there, like with the Browns and stuff,
Yeah,
it's
don't.
hilarious,
Yeah,
man.
you can, yeah. Just
Can't get to that
don't do
subject.
We'll go. Yeah, that's it.
But we have one of the most exciting things is that now, because we've been doing this for 2 full years, and this is our 3rd year, our students and people we know and love are giving us coffee.
Yeah.
Yay!
It doesn't
So-
get much better than that.
So last time we did the Weasel coffee, I think
Yes.
that was
from Cambodia.
From Cambodia, David
Yes.
Lockhart, shout out. This time we are drinking Kona coffee.
Kona, 100%
Oh,
Kona.
it's good.
One of our faithful
Right from
listeners
the
from
islands.
Hawaii.
Yes.
And this is Jackson Spear and his parents have sent us this coffee, and it is so yummy.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
so much.
Thank you so much,
Awesome.
Spear family. It is amazing.
Jackson is one of our awesome trumpet students who's
Yes.
really,
Yeah.
the last podcast that we listened to, Ron and I, was season 2, episode 3, and we actually talked about Jackson.
Oh, did we
Yeah.
really?
Yes,
Oh,
we
that's
talked
funny.
about the progress
Saying
he
how
was
he's
making.
sight reading.
Yeah.
And they weren't in
Yeah.
Hawaii yet, so
Yeah.
he wasn't in high school and stuff. So
Oh, that's it. Yeah, no, he's doing well. It was funny because he asked me in his last lesson about have you been drinking all of the coffee, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh yeah. And he doesn't drink coffee, so he's like,
Yeah,
we
missing
have
out.
to,
That's
we have
it.
to
That's
show
what I
the
told him.
mugs, or tell about them anyway, because these are mugs that Josh got for Christmas.
Well,
Oh
And
yeah.
mine says drink coffee and do good. So
That's it.
Jackson, drink coffee and do good.
There you go. I got espresso yourself.
Yeah, I love that. What's yours?
this one encapsulates Joshua,
Mm.
but first, coffee.
Yeah.
There you go. That's it. And it's-
Nothing gets done.
No.
Well, that's kind of
Well,
like
that happened
our
first.
that's kind of like our podcast, but first coffee. And Amber Spear is Jackson's mom, and appreciate her and
Yes.
appreciate the coffee.
Yeah, it's very good. Well, and then what's really funny is like it is extremely expensive to get here
Yeah.
in the States, in the mainland here, because it's like you can get it at Fresh Market, but it's like $30 to $40 a bag.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's like the
Ridiculous.
Weasel coffee.
It is. It's like the Weasel coffee. It's like that Jamaican Blue Mountain. It's the same kind of stuff. You get it there. It's because it's there.
Yes, it's great.
indigenous to the region. But
And I can't
Yeah.
remember Jackson's dad's name. I went blank.
Aaron,
Oh, Aaron.
A.A. Ron.
A.A. Ron. Thank you all so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
So yeah, it's definitely it's
nice.
very full-bodied, right?
Yes.
Full-bodied taste.
There's
Yeah.
that great
Well, and it's
taste.
not bitter. I
Mhm.
think so much I say that a lot, that it's not bitter, but I think that's because of how Josh...
It has a
makes
lot to do with the extraction process. Yes, it does.
We did it. So again, going back to season 2, episode 3, we did a lot of talk about like right now I'm looking at all of the paraphernalia that Josh has on his counter. The coffee paraphernalia, which is, I don't even know what half of it is, but
He's a mad scientist.
Looks like some kind of experiments, some lab in here.
varying
Yeah.
degrees.
Well, I did make both of yours with a siphon.
Oh,
Did you? Yeah, it's
I
great.
used the
Very good.
siphon maker for that. What I'm finding with the siphon is that you don't get nearly as much oil. Because that's when it... And I
You
actually
mentioned
wonder...
that in the podcast we were listening to.
Yeah,
Really?
there's no
Okay.
oil.
Well, you know what? We shouldn't do this podcast. We should just tell
I know.
everybody go listen
Play
to
it
it.
back
and listen
Because
to-
apparently we're saying the same stuff over and over again. Yeah, but seriously, like it was something that I recently, because I started using it more, and there's people like some of these like the carnivore doctor and stuff like that. They're saying that there's acids in coffee because it comes from plants, and could be some like toxicity and blah 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 blah. And I've heard all that stuff before. Don't care, but but there is some truth to that, but a lot of what I've found is that from what I've seen and read and everything is that you have to be like drinking it the entire day.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I used to drink coffee all day.
Right. Well, and that
was bad.
And that's bad, right? And that's when you experience the toxic effects and things like that. But there's
you take hour-long naps at lunch.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because you would totally crash.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah. So that's so in moderation, and there's lots of studies recently that have shown that there's a lot of health benefits too. Good for your heart and whatnot.
Good for diabetes.
Exactly. And so I started
mental
looking.
acuity.
Right.
I even said that
100%.
Well, you want your mental to be cute.
Using those big girl words. That's awesome.
it.
Yeah.
That's it. So yes,
but I started
nice.
looking into the extraction process and brewing methods that are part of that, and I think that there are some that could be healthier than others. Specifically, like with the siphon, because what happens in the siphon is you have the water in a glass bowl, and you have a Bunsen burner underneath, and it boils the water, comes up through into this holder in the top where all the grounds are and everything. When that happens, all of the oil floats up to the top, and it's now thick, foam at the very top of the coffee. Then when you kill the burner and it all siphons down into the bowl again, all of that oil then is on top. Now I'm sure that some of it goes through the grounds and stuff, but for the most part, it is being filtered out on top. And I got a new filter too for the siphon. That's it's a metal filter, really fine filter. And so I think that's getting rid of some of the bitterness, and reducing the oil just a little bit. So it's probably a little bit of a better cup like that.
Yeah, it tastes really good.
Yeah,
it is. And I promised that we would do a shout out to the Coggins family because they blessed us with some Starbucks
Coffee
gift cards at Christmas. So
always a favorite in the Kaye
wonderful.
household. Yes,
very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I guess I need to do that. I always forget.
That's good. So, yeah. So
Yeah.
good coffee.
Good coffee.
It's
New
stuff.
coffee.
New coffee. New year.
New
Yeah,
year.
and we did get a few. So in other episodes, you'll see we'll be trying out some new coffee that we've gotten from other students.
Yeah.
And kind of give our reviews on that. But this is Kona coffee. You cannot beat it.
I gotta say though, I still think somebody asked me yesterday which was my favorite coffee, and I think honestly I think she wanted to hear like
Folgers.
Yeah, or like a, Starbucks latte frappuccino.
Maxwell House.
Something. And then I said to Josh, well, what's that weasel coffee called? And I really think that's right now up there with my favorites.
Well, the funny thing about that was the timing, because Josh has been making homemade chocolate, which, I'm diabetic, so I don't have any sugar or starch in my diet. And he found a way to make chocolate that I could eat. So it was really interesting. And, like the first times, we've had these brownies like you make, and it's chocolate. It's good, but there's a kind of strange aftertaste to it.
Yeah,
it tastes
sweetener,
kind of chemically altered. But so he made this chocolate, and he found a way to make it where it's just like really good cocoa.
Yeah.
It's just so rich and good. And so he was making that, and that taste is so unique when you eat that chocolate, and that coffee, that weasel coffee, has that. It's like you stirred it with one of those sticks of chocolate.
I know, it was amazing.
Yeah, the cacao taste.
Yes.
Yeah, it really comes out.
It's
really good.
Yeah, it's pretty
truly
interesting.
shocking and amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I absolutely loved it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, you don't even care that it came out of a
I
weasel's
don't care at all.
behind.
No.
Like,
It's just, helps the
Doesn't even-
folklore.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Doesn't
I mean,
even factor in.
everyday coffee, I've been drinking a lot of different flavored coffees. Just,
Is that you?
it's me. I like different flavors.
Yeah,
And then I brought
flavors
Josh a bunch of different flavored coffees that we have. But for coffee, and actually this year the Starbucks Holiday Blend was really good. I liked it.
The Starbucks Holiday Blend, they did a good job with that one. The fall blend was crap. But
it was icky.
The Holiday Blend was good.
Let us really know how you feel
That's
about
it. Starbucks, if you're listening, you really screwed up on the fall blend.
We didn't like
They used it. I think they went for a Sumatra blend for the holiday blend.
It was very
a little
good.
bit of a
It was
darker
very-
roast.
a darker
It had some
roast,
earthy tones to it.
So I bought a ton because it was half price after Christmas. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Coffee half price?
Yeah. I got a bunch of that from students at school. They bought me the holiday blend.
Good.
So
Yes.
it was nice. It
So
was
thank
funny.
you so much, all the people that are
Yes,
doing
it's
this.
such a incredible blessing to have people that are interested in the same things we're interested in and are generous enough to provide us some coffee to taste.
Absolutely. And provide content for our podcast.
Yes,
There
of
you go.
course. It's
That's
very
it.
important.
I love it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
Excellent.
good.
Very good.
Okay, so are we going to do this?
We have to.
We're
do
going
it.
to do
Okay. All right. So, those of you that don't know us, we are, Cleveland Browns fans.
Die Hard.
Yeah,
Well,
we are.
in my head.
We do die hard.
We do. That's it. We fit all of the diehards, right? We die another day. It's a good day to die hard. Yeah.
The interesting thing about being a Browns fan is it goes beyond just the Browns. It's kind of being committed to a team and going through all their struggles, and it's just living through a lot of great moments and
Not so great moments.
10 times more worse moments.
Yeah.
And still having a little hope and having it dashed.
Yeah.
And then, so it goes on and on and on. But this season has been abysmal.
Yes.
To say the least.
I love it, man. Go on YouTube and search Fire Stefanski. I did that last night.
That's the coach.
And I
Yes,
laughed.
yeah.
Josh and I were laughing so hard, man. I was crying.
Well,
couldn't
people
teach, I
people
just
are getting
flat out
it.
couldn't.
People are getting it now.
The fans are getting it.
Yeah. All right, hang on just a second. Move this.
Again?
Who's hanging on?
Okay, we're good. Okay. I
Okay.
had to move the mic. Okay, we're good. But yes, Fire Stefanski.
Yes.
It's hilarious.
There was I don't know, the kid was probably, 15, 16, the first one I showed you?
Yeah.
He had the
Yeah, I know, right?
cookie duster,
Yeah, you did.
But
Yeah.
he was like quintessential Cleveland, man.
Really?
And, you
got it.
got to watch the video to understand what that means. But
Well, so to put everything in perspective, okay, so, we go through, we've been through a lot of coaching changes, we've been through a lot of tumultuous seasons, a lot of things don't come out during the season until the end, and then you hear all the stories about
Backstories
what has
about
happened.
what really happened.
Yeah,
instead
behind
of all
closed
the
doors
gossip.
and stuff,
Yeah.
and you go, oh my God. And so, and it's been that way for a long time. And
There's a lot of drama.
there's a lot of drama, and it's one of those things where some of this stuff is not a big deal when the team is winning, right?
Yeah,
But if they're
that's
not,
true with anybody.
right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
I mean, that's the thing, right? When you are successful, you put up with all of the little annoyances because it's working, right? But the Browns haven't seemed to make that happen. So.
on a consistent
basis.
And
Well,
we
so
have
that's
moments of greatness.
that's where we go to. So Freddie Kitchens gets fired, GM gets fired, everything gets completely clean, wiped clean. DePodesta that they've pulled in to be the guy that was supposed to be doing the analytics to figure out what good players are, the head of player personnel.
Yeah.
Nobody was listening to him, and it was kind of like, well, why are you paying me to do this if you're not
Yes.
going to listen, right? So then they said, okay, we're going to listen. They actually gave him like a title and a position and stuff, and then hired Andrew Barry. And Andrew Barry's the GM. The two of them working together, they start recruiting all this talent. And part of their hiring process, they decided that Kevin Stefanski was the best choice. Okay.
They decided that?
Yes.
That's what analytics does for you.
Right.
I really just
You got a
am
guy
so
with
over
no
that
experience.
Right.
He had one season of play calling.
Yeah. Well.
Oh, he knows how to hold the play sheet, man.
This was
Let's hire him.
Right. Well, this was the thinking, was that he supposedly was really smart. This is what they said.
Not true.
He was really smart and he understood the analytics, whereas there were other coaches who
He
didn't.
might get the analytics,
Yeah.
but the analytics isn't like predicting the future.
No, it's
That's
not,
the problem.
and it's really
You
been
can't-
interesting watching Sunday Night Football. And listen, you know, I'm not a huge fan of the guy who's opposite Al Michaels. What's his name? I'm losing it now.
Chris Collinsworth?
Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a huge Chris Collinsworth fan,
Hey,
but I
I knew
have
that.
to say
How about
that? Yeah,
I'm
woo.
sorry.
Yeah,
we just
it's
had
good. I'm not a huge Chris Collinsworth fan, but I have to say, like, as I've gotten older and more experienced, and I listen to what he's saying, oh, that was weird. Hair got in my mouth. I listen to what he's saying.
Thanks
There's,
for that visual.
I know. I'm sorry. It just all of a sudden mustache hair right in here. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, no, we're raw people. It's all what you see is what you get. Okay. So
Did you say blooper reel?
yeah, right.
Yes, I already
That's it.
did
That's
say
it.
that,
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Anyway, he was talking about the analytics and you know, watching different games because more and more teams are becoming more analytics driven. So they're going for it on fourth down. They're going for two, and they're doing all this stuff that you didn't used to see even 5 years ago, or if you did, it was on a rare basis. You know, because the analytics say that that's better and it's more successful and
Wait,
stuff.
hold up. The system of analytics says the system of analytics is good and perfect.
Yes.
Right.
It's crazy.
What a bunch of crap, man.
Well, you know, it
Right.
really, you do, this is sort of pervasive because this has been a number of years coming too in the public school system. Everything is data driven.
Data driven.
Data
There
driven,
you
data
go.
driven.
That's analytics.
And
Yeah,
it's analytic,
data
and
driven.
it's the same thing that's happening here. They look at, but it doesn't always go that way.
Right.
And
It'd
what,
be a great aid,
yes,
you know, if you could take
yes.
that as like another person's opinion.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But no, it's like God spoke.
Right.
Well,
You
the
know, and
problem
you gotta
is
do this.
The problem is if you look at something like, you know, okay, let's, you know, using the football, you know, example here,
Analogy, yes.
going for it on fourth down, you're 4th and 2, okay, and there's a probability that, you know, 60% of the time you go for it on 4th and 2, you're gonna make it and you're gonna score, okay. 60% of the time that's true, 40% it isn't. Well, then you sit there and go, yeah, we should go for it because that's more times than not that you're gonna make it.
I'm sorry. Talk to a weatherman.
Right.
You know, because
Yes.
you know they
Talk
do this
about
all
analytics.
the time.
Yes.
60% chance of rain. Well, that means 40% chance you're not going to see any rain, and we can still play golf.
Right.
I mean,
Yes.
come on.
Well, so then I go back to then this is, you know, the whole thing with Stefanski of hiring him because he understood the analytics. If he's living by the analytics,
You can't.
you're really dumb.
Well,
Because-
not only that, this is part A of his demise. Part B is he's stubborn.
yeah.
Yes.
He has a plan. He listened to any press conference. Oh, we follow the plan. We got a plan. Well, I'm going to be sick. I'm not going to be there. That's okay.
Yeah.
We got a plan.
We have a plan,
He's just
yeah.
going to follow the plan.
Right.
You know, he's just following the analytics. It's like do what R2D2 tells you to do, and we'll be fine.
But,
you know.
you know, because if the plan tanks, you got to
You got to be able to pivot. I mean, look, you know, let's
Pivot.
talk about.
Pivot.
That's good friends reference right there. Yeah.
Yes, but that has been a buzzword in education. This,
Oh,
this year, too.
100%. They've been saying pivot
Yes.
all over the place. Yeah. Well, so one of the things that is interesting, if we look at other coaches in the league, who do you think is the best coach in the league right now, or some of the best coaches? Bruce Arians with the
I was
Tampa
going
Bay
to
Bucks.
say Bruce Arians was the first.
Belichick, you know,
Yes.
definitely up there on the list. Mike Tomlin with
Yes,
the Steelers.
absolutely.
Watch those guys coach. Do they stick to the plan?
No.
Do they walk around with the play
Do
sheet?
they walk around with the play
Nose?
sheet? Right. How many times do you
Yeah.
see them staring at a play sheet?
Well,
Well,
that,
that
was
was-
the thing about this guy on YouTube. One of the other people under Fire Stefanski, which he just put the phone on and walked through his house ranting.
Yeah, it was funny.
And he has like several videos like that. And every other sentence is, I hate that guy. Fire him now. I loved it, man. That was beautiful. you
That was
know.
it. Oh my gosh.
But you know, he talks about how Stefanski won't let go of that idea of the plan,
Right.
and how it's like common sense tells you that's stupid, but
Yeah,
the
yeah.
plan says go
no,
for
you
it.
gotta
and-
stick to the plan. This is the plan.
That's
Yeah,
not
it's ridiculous.
That's not football, human football. It's a
It's
human
not reality.
sport.
I mean, it's just
Well,
not-
that's the bottom line. So when it comes to education, when it comes to football, because to any of this stuff that's using these analytics, you are dealing with human beings,
Yes.
and that's what makes us different. I was listening to another podcast where there was a guy on it who's a programmer, and he specifically specifically works with robots. He's creating robots, and his biggest thing is he's working on this robot that he wants to kind of bridge the gap between older people and current technology, because he was saying that, like, you know, they want to FaceTime their kids and stuff and they don't know how to do it and whatnot, so he wants some kind of an AI that they could have, like just something small that sits on the table that can help them if
They
they're
don't
having...
have Josh to call.
Right, and that's what he was saying, because that's the thing. He was like,
I thought
you're
it was
making these
called
connections.
Portal.
What?
Facebook.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of concept. He's just
Yeah.
he's just kind of working on his own thing. But the point is, like, in this podcast, he was getting ribbed by people about, like, oh man, you're creating a robot and it's going to take over the universe, and like, aren't you worried about the robot uprising and all this? And he was like, no, because he's like, you got to understand, like, I work in robotics all the time. You have to program it to do everything, and every
It doesn't
single thing,
think.
it doesn't think on its own.
Right.
So every single thing has to be programmed in a specific way with a specific order and a specific code. And I'm like, yeah, that makes 100% sense when you're talking about robots and computers. People are not robots and computers.
No, they're not.
And people are not always rational.
No.
And, you know,
What happens when you get somebody like Stefanski following the plan all the time, you have to stop and think, okay, let's step back from that. How many NFL coaches would have Chubb and Hunt
oh, yeah.
sit on the bench and
Oh.
run guys off the practice
Oh,
squad?
man.
And then put Chubb in, 3 times in a game. I
Yeah.
think he ran 3 times.
yeah.
How many, not one.
Uh,
Not one of his peers
and-
would do that.
and
And
that's-
then we would be like, are you out of your mind?
Well, and let's look at, what was it, game 3 or 4 when they played Denver and Dearness Johnson, like, blew up
They're
the
awesome.
field,
and they pulled him off the
And
field.
then that
They
was it.
just
The
said
very
that
next
they
game,
left-
he's on the bench.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, what the heck?
Yeah, there really
you know?
just was so much. We
I
started
think
this
that's
season.
his pettiness.
Yes.
Exactly.
He doesn't want to be proven wrong.
No,
so
that's it,
there's
because that
guys
wasn't supposed to
proven
happen.
wrong.
Right,
Yeah.
Dearness Johnson was supposed to be the short yardage guy, right?
Yeah.
And then he's blowing open big plays,
Right.
and it's like, wait a minute, that's supposed to be Chubb. That's not
Yeah.
supposed to be Johnson.
That's
so,
Chubb's job.
Yeah, that's Chubb's job. So,
Yeah.
let alone, like, it was successful.
And do you think the mentality is let's win the game? No.
Mm-mm.
It's-
Yeah, it's frustrating. So, you
Well,
know,
we started this season with so much hope and anticipation, and we've got all this talent, and we're going to go all the way.
But
We're
he-
going to at least,
You bring this up the very first game we were watching. They had Chubb and Hunt. And they run Chubb, they run Hunt. They
Yeah.
rub Chubb, they rub Hunt. They go bang, bang, bang right down the field. Boom.
Yeah.
Scored a touchdown,
Yeah.
get the extra point. All you got to do is keep doing that.
right.
No.
Here's your plan. Here's the recipe for success. No, analytics say we can't do that. Or his
Yeah.
petty little highness
Right, right.
there, decides that that's not going to work.
Well, and it didn't make sense, especially when Baker got hurt, and it was so obvious. It didn't matter what they were saying to the press. Oh, it's not bothering him. Oh, it doesn't
Yeah.
affect his throw.
He's
And
tough.
it was like, well, we don't have eyes, right? We
Yeah.
can't see, so we just have to listen to what you're saying and
Yeah.
go, yeah, I guess that's the way that is. No, it was
Yeah.
very clear that it was bothering him, and he wasn't connecting, he wasn't being accurate, and then he was overthrowing. Some of those drop passes, I mean, they hit the guy in the hand and
Yeah.
bounced off, but because
Yeah.
it was like a rocket, and
Yeah.
it was like, and
Hot
so
potato.
exactly. So he was not, whether it's
and
a
the
mental
plan
thing
said,
or physically, that
keep
was it.
throwing the ball. Keep
No, well,
throwing the ball.
here's the thing. The Cleveland Browns destroyed Baker Mayfield. I'm not a big Baker fan. I think he needs to go, but I think he's done in football because he was a member of the Cleveland Browns team.
Yeah, I hope not.
He started out at Greg Williams, put a fire under his
Yeah.
butt, and he was like amazing,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
He probably thrived the most under.
And he would be running down the field after that, 50-yard
Yeah.
pass. And
Oh, I know. Yeah,
congratulating the guy
exactly.
jumping up and down.
Yeah.
And then they started telling him, Kitchens came along, stay in the pocket, stay in the
that was
He
terrible.
stayed in the pocket.
He
It
kept
collapsed
getting
on him
free.
every
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
And he never get out of the pocket. Then Stefanski comes along, I don't know what the hell he told him.
Well,
It's
we have to acknowledge the fact that, no matter all of this, we did have a great year last year.
Yes.
And we made the playoffs for the first time, almost beat the Chiefs. So that's kind of the problem that we're facing right now as a franchise, is that, why did you have such amazing success that year, and then this year it was just absolute crap? What happened? What changed?
It was according to the plan.
Yeah.
But
was it-
wait. Everybody, all the sportscasters, commentators, everybody said, man, Cleveland's going to be a contender this year.
Everybody.
Because they got the talent, man.
Right, they did.
Everybody,
It's the
the
Super Bowl.
water people are
Right.
talented.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's like no excuse why you couldn't win a Super Bowl.
Exactly.
And
They did good
then
in the draft.
Stefanski and his
Right.
analytics drove it into the ground
Right.
because it wasn't following his plan. Then he'd get petty and stubborn
Right.
and just ruin the whole thing. And now we're down to like flashbacks to you.
Well, I think the biggest issue going in, ending this season, going into the off season, is going to be who wants to play for this guy.
Yeah, well, that's
And I
it.
think that
I mean,
Nobody.
after he was coach of the year last year, everybody wanted to play for him, right?
Yeah.
And now that, like a lot of people are saying, the book is out on Stefanski. Now that
Yeah.
everybody sees what he is, who he is, how he operates, defenses have figured him out, you know, and then all of the crap with Odell and the extreme
don't even bring it
unprofessionalism.
up, man.
Well, the extreme
Well, you know,
unprofessionalism
he
of that whole
he
thing.
danced on Odell's
Yes, he
grave
did.
before he left Cleveland, and he's
Yeah.
doing the same thing to Baker Mayfield
He's
now.
making him the
Yeah.
Because that's
scapegoat.
how petty that guy is.
Exactly.
He's
Yeah.
like a little girl.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
this is
making him the
ridiculous.
scapegoat. He'll, in one breath, will say that, you know, we need to coach better and I need to be held accountable. And then I sit there and go, okay, if you keep saying that, then
do
you
it.
need to be fired.
Yeah.
Because let's look at this. If you're saying that you deserve the accountability and blah 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 blah, what the heck does that mean?
Right.
Like right, it's just empty words.
To get you off my back.
Right, and so then he'll
This is
point
what I'm
to
supposed to say when we
Yeah.
use it.
Right.
Well, he started out saying, "Oh, when we win, it's it's
Yeah.
not due to any one person.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
we
whole team,
sharing
we
the loss.
celebrate."
We sharing the loss,
And then
yeah.
the loss happens.
Yeah.
You can't blame me.
no,
Because we all sharing the
That's-
loss.
we all sharing the
You know,
loss. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
Yeah, it's
pitiful.
bad, and that's bad leadership.
Yes,
and you know,
there's no leadership.
I said after what happened with Odell that he might have lost the locker room. You remember that?
Yes,
Yes,
because
I
everybody
remember
in the
that.
locker room
Right.
loved Odell.
Exactly, because he was a
Yeah.
great teammate.
Here
He
he
took care
writes
of his
this
guys.
letter to the plain dealer. Did you hear the letter?
Yes,
it
yeah,
was
it was
so
beautiful.
heartfelt, wonderful letter thanking the
The fans.
owners
Yeah, and the fans
and everybody
of
on the
Cleveland.
team for
Yeah.
allowing him to play with him, and it meant so much to him, and he
Yeah.
loved him, and he wished him well, and there was no hard feelings.
Yeah.
And, it's a new chapter in his life, and it was beautiful.
Yeah,
man.
I know.
Nobody humbles themselves and does that.
It was,
And then
Yeah.
he goes, and
yeah.
all of a sudden, every game he's getting. a
Oh, he
touchdown.
scored a touchdown.
Oh,
I
he's
know,
doing
I
great
know.
with
It's
the
so
Rams.
good.
And,
with the
and
Rams.
the
So
Browns,
proud of
where
them.
did they go? They went further in the hole.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
That tells you what Stefanski was.
It
all
did.
about.
It really took the cover off of the situation, because it would have been one thing if he would have left and the Browns started winning and then
Yeah.
And he
Odell
started-
wasn't doing
No,
good in
yeah,
the Rams.
right.
Yeah.
Everybody would have been like, okay, it was what we thought. He's not that great.
He's a
and
troublemaker.
He's a troublemaker and blah, 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 blah. But they've been trying to say that back when he was with the Giants.
Right.
It's
Well, the
same
people on the
thing.
Rams now love him.
Exactly.
Yes, they do.
Just like
Yeah.
the Browns loved him.
Exactly.
He's probably a really charismatic,
Yeah.
great
he
guy.
appears like it, yeah.
And I
yeah.
think when people are behind him, he feels more comfortable
Well, he-
to do his best.
Yeah, he's
Absolutely.
very passionate. I think that's what draws us to him too, because you
Yeah.
can see that passion in his play.
Well, which is
and
why
what he does.
Cleveland was the perfect place
Yes,
for him.
right.
Because listen, you guys, if you are still listening with us, by the way,
Yeah, I know, I know. Maybe
we've
you
gone
gave
on
up
our
on us at this
massive
point.
Browns rant. If you're still with it, you see how passionate Browns fans are,
Yeah.
and that's why it's so disappointing when we don't get that reciprocated, from the players and from the team,
Yeah,
But,
it's hard.
so we'll see what happens. It's going to be an interesting offseason. There's going to be changes. There has to be changes. They
Yes.
can't just run this back. And I'll tell you what, everybody in the media and even fans too owe Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator, a massive apology
Yes.
because they were calling for him to be fired in the
Yeah.
first two games, and right now that's the best thing about this team is their
I
defense.
know.
Well, I'm not
It
going to
is.
jump on that bandwagon because I think he copped to Stefanski's pressure, which that's what Baker did. Look what it did for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think that praise isn't necessarily
But
warranted.
no,
But our
because
defense has been good.
yeah, it's the thing. The defense stepped up. So,
Yeah.
all right. Well, we're gonna take a break here and cool off for a second. And coffee is kicked in, and we're all raging on the Browns here. And we'll talk about some music stuff and look back on last year. We'll be right back.
Ron Kaye's music instruction has been trusted by thousands in Pensacola to learn, play and love music. Our strong passion for teaching music provides expert knowledge and guidance which helps you succeed and have fun with your music lessons. Whether it's a bucket list dream or a desire to enhance your child's life, our music lessons are the answer. Call 850-453-9966 now. Realize your musical dreams. Visit musiclessonspensacola.com today.
All right, and we're back. We're calm now.
Yes.
We're good. We're in our happy place. It's awesome. So let's talk about last. Yeah. So yes. Let's talk about last year. So lots of things happened last year. Everybody in music,
not in football.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Well, in music and in the case life and stuff, and so I actually made some notes of some things just as I was reflecting.
Josh turned 30.
Yeah, that
I
happened.
have to just jump right in there with that.
Yeah.
He's no longer a kid.
Now, all them times your dad says, wait till you're 30.
Wait till
You
you're
get
30.
out of bed and everything hurts.
That's it. That's right. Keep your hand. You're gonna sneeze and throw your back out.
Yeah.
All these joyous things I've been looking forward to and
Yes.
been hearing about since I was 12. I'm hoping I did start a new exercise program, and I've been a lot more concerned about, and I've talked to you guys about this, about functional fitness, because I don't want to sneeze and throw my back out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And you don't want to look like the Hulk.
No, I don't, and I think that's the thing is when I was 20 and I was doing P90X and stuff, and don't get me wrong, I mean P90X was intense, but I really think that P90X was huge for me because if you remember, I was scrawny, skinny, little muscle tone.
It made a big change.
It made a big because I did it twice, and it made a big change in my body, which I think is why I look the way that I do now.
At the same time, you scared me to death when you're like nauseous, laying on the floor, telling me you can't get up.
Yeah. Well,
that's like, man.
Actually,
you gotta know where a cutoff switch is.
To be honest, I never told you I couldn't get up.
You were like,
I was like, I'm fine.
It's normal when you feel like it all goes funny in your eyes.
I was so mad at Caroline when she called you that one time and was like, Josh is throwing up and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, why are you calling?
One of the best things she ever did.
It was so funny.
She always had to call us.
Oh, jeez, that happened several times.
She wasn't a sailor. That's not true.
No,
I didn't mean it that way.
No, because stuff would happen. You guys weren't home.
She was my eyes and ears.
She'd say,
I'd be like, I'm fine, and she's like, you're bleeding all over the kitchen. I'm like, no, it's fine. It's not that bad.
Don't tell Dad.
Don't tell Dad. It's just wrap it up and we'll be fine. She's like, no. She looked at it. She's like, you need to go to the hospital.
I can see the bone.
That's what she was on the phone with you, and she was like, I can see the bone. I'm like, there's no bone, kid. Oh my God, memories.
Yes, just ask Josh.
That's what little sisters are for.
No, right. That's
well, it was good.
Well,
I
guess so. Really I think, but experiences like that. So now starting a new exercise routine, I've got a different perspective on things, and I am being aware because I had you remember Chris? Chris said one time, he was like,
Ferris like the wheel.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Chris Ferris, great guy. And he said to me one time, everybody else has like a certain level, like a threshold where it's like they get tired or you experience the physical pain or whatever, and that's like the shutoff valve. It's like, okay, I'm not going any further than that. And he's like, yours is broken.
That's it.
That's pretty good observation.
That's it. And so it was great when he explained it like that, because then it was like I have to now start doing that. I have to because I get the adrenaline. It's not listening to my body. That's what I'm saying. I get the adrenaline going, and I'm like last night I was doing the exercise, and I'm like I'm going, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, this is good. I'm feeling tired, but I'm in it, and I'm going for it and everything. And then I look at and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how far can I go, right? How far can I go? I think I could go a little bit more. And I look down, and I'm at 170, heart rate. And see, in my mind, before I saw the heart rate, in my mind, I'm like, I can go more. and I'm going more, and I'm going more.
That's how they fill the hospital with heart attacks.
Well, that's why I wear the heart monitor.
There
So
you
when
go.
I looked at our
Very
monitor and I saw 170, I thought, okay, that's stopped. Now
Yeah.
I'm done. And so I think that's the thing is like I've gotten smarter about that kind of a thing and not pushing too far.
to know your limitations.
Yeah, well, I don't like that. So
Well,
You have to learn to
call
like
that
it.
wisdom.
well,
Yes.
right. That's
You
it.
don't like that.
Right.
That's it.
So
Well,
also
turning
last
30.
year, he turned 30, and Josh completed his master's in music
Yeah.
education.
Yeah.
We shared that on several podcasts as
That
well.
was good.
Yep,
That was
we did.
good.
That was very
You
good.
could rock around, tell everybody.
Only one in my side of the family
And-
that ever did that.
And my side of the family.
Really?
I mean,
Tony's got a doctorate.
well, Tony, yes, he does have a doctorate.
She's
That's my
talking blood
brother-in-law.
relatives.
But as far
Yeah.
as far as any of my parents' grandchildren or children,
Oh yeah.
So those were two biggies.
That's good.
I think.
Well, I remember going through this, and he just wanted to quit. And
yeah.
A couple
we had,
of times.
We had a discussion. And said,
Probably.
you're already in the water, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Land is within sight. You can't just quit.
Yeah.
You gotta keep.
Well, there were things that came up like dealing with higher education is always a difficult thing because sometimes these people are far removed, and this is not
Boy, that's an understatement.
That's it, and this is
Yeah.
not an don't get me wrong. I absolutely love Boston University. We're Terriers for life now,
Yes,
and
we are
I
Boston
believe
Terriers.
that the education I got from the program was extremely valuable. I wouldn't have done it any other way. I absolutely, when it's all said and done, great school, great education, great teachers, great program, really good. But at the same time, every school, no matter what, and every program, no matter what, is going to have its difficulties and its issues. And sometimes when you're dealing with some people that are stuck in
certain philosophy.
certain philosophy,
Or
right?
like
Yeah.
in 1985.
Well,
And I ran across that at UWF.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that's
with
what I'm saying.
dynamite. You couldn't get in there.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. I think that you run into that anywhere,
Yes.
and it's sometimes it can be difficult because you start to question, like, okay, is this really about me learning?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
is this really where you're coming from?
It's the ego.
That's it,
Yeah.
yeah. Or is it the ego? Yeah, right. And I think that was some of the difficulty that I came across is that some people were just pushing stuff just because, this is
That's
what I
their
do,
thing.
and that's
Well,
it.
If you look at the graduation ceremony, it's kind of like a satanic ritual. You have these guys with robes and colored sashes, and they're on pedestals. And when they open their mouth to speak, there's
Yeah.
We always sing pomp and circumstance.
it's kind of a little overkill.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But it really
Graduation ceremonies are
But
cool.
his graduation, it was kind of
Play
fun.
Octopus Garden.
somebody needs to send this to Jim Gaffigan because I'm sure he's going to use that in his next
Yeah,
stand-up.
that's good material right there.
So those were
Oh,
two
my
biggies,
God,
and
yeah.
that had to do with Josh. We actually had a very good year with the business. It was
Set a
very
record
successful.
actually, so
Yeah.
can't argue with that.
Yeah, that was amazing, and I think the online capabilities that we started, and if you look too, it's interesting when I think about it because we saw the success from it last year. We really started it the year before,
Yes.
where we started doing online lessons and making that available to everyone. But it took like a year for people to really.
Well, I mean, you had to get used to the idea.
Yes.
And initially they were like, no.
Yeah.
And then, the public schools completely screwed up the concept of
Yes.
learning.
Oh,
at home,
jeez. I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it was they wanted it to fail. You can't convince me otherwise because they, let's do away with the tests.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Then
know.
let's go
Yeah.
into summer vacation.
Yeah.
And when they come back, they'll be smarter than ever.
Right.
And then you get kids going online in their PJs and stuff, and what the hell's they're laying down?
Yeah, well-
Where's your mother
Or they're
and
not
father?
even putting their screen on. I mean,
Right,
a lot of
and
that was
there's-
especially at the
There's
high
all
school
of that.
level.
Yeah.
Well, but that's it. Did start because of how just all of a sudden, right towards the end of the school year, when we're getting ready for standardized testing and all this stuff,
Well, it
and
was
we
March,
are
yeah.
in high
Productivity.
rigor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's switching to online. if they would have kept to some kind of standard,
Yeah.
I think that it would have been more successful in the second year. But
there
because
was no
all the
plan.
standards dropped,
They
there was
needed
no plan.
Stefanski. What do the analytics say about
That's
it?
it.
I'm sure they'd be behind.
Oh my God! Yeah. But that was the thing, is because that set up the idea that this is online learning. I just can't even. Right? Okay.
I know.
But they set up the
I don't
idea
rely on
that
that.
this was online learning, and so then the problem was when we come back to next year, and it's like now we're going to take this seriously. This is going to be online learning, but now we're taking it seriously. Nobody else really was, and especially the kids, because their first reaction of online learning was all of that. There was no standard.
Yeah.
There were no rules.
No
I can do
anchor.
whatever I want. There was no anchor. Exactly.
Yeah.
There were no consequences.
Yeah.
They, when the governor came
Well,
out,
the parents were the same way.
that what they were.
You know,
Hey,
like, oh, I don't have to do nothing.
that's it.
What is
I'm
the
gonna plug
kid
them in
doing?
front of the computer, and the teacher should just do everything.
Yeah.
They're sitting in front of the computer, and that's learning. And it was just like, and if I hear one more parent talk about how hard it is to homeschool,
Oh,
I'm just like, I'm sorry if you're a parent out there listening to this, but you do not understand what it is to actually homeschool your
the
kids.
real deal.
Until the teachers are gone, okay? There's
Yeah.
no teacher, there's no curriculum, and you're doing it all yourself, because that's what homeschooling is. So no,
We
that's not
homeschool
It's
kids.
full
Yeah.
schooling.
That was it. Not saying that it wasn't difficult, but it definitely was not the same as actually homeschooling, because we
Right.
did have to, and this is why I'm saying this, because there were teachers like us who really were working hard
Yes.
to try to provide this online education, and then parents were saying that, oh, it was all them. And that was really frustrating, because I think most teachers will say that they worked the hardest that they ever
Yes.
have in their entire career last year,
Yeah.
Right.
trying to provide good quality online
And
education.
especially with the mixed classes. That was a dumb idea.
Oh man, the hybrid classes,
Yeah.
right? You have some kids online and some kids in person at the same time. I
That
mean,
was
Now
that was most of my classes.
these opinions are not just drawn out of thin air. I homeschooled him.
Yes.
Yeah.
We homeschooled him.
Yes.
And you were a public school
school
teacher,
teacher,
and
yes.
and you helped me homeschool him.
Yep.
yeah,
And we held him to a standard the whole time.
yeah,
And he lived up to the standard, and he got a great education, and he got great grades. He got into a great school. He went on to get his master's. So this is not like we're just bashing people
Armchair
for the sense of
quarterback,
yeah. No,
We know
we
we're
live
talking.
that life.
And on top of that, we homeschool, or not homeschool, but we do remote learning in the business.
yeah,
Right.
And we know what it takes to succeed. You parents, you can't put a 5-year-old on a computer and expect them. You're going to leave the room. I'm going to go wash the dishes in the other room, and I'll keep my ear out. That's not going to succeed.
right.
Right.
You do have to be involved.
Yes.
You
And
have to be
but it's
involved.
been it really has been a joy for me teaching remote. I never thought I would enjoy it so much,
Well,
and
it's
I love it.
evolved in a
And
really good
we've
thing.
gotten really
Yeah.
good at it, and so
Yeah.
if people are considering lessons, especially lessons with us, and we say remote learning, we know what we're doing with this
Yeah.
now,
Yeah.
and we're very successful with it, and
Yes.
we have a lot of options and a lot of different things that we can do. I love my remote lessons. I really do. I mean in person as well. But
Oh yeah, but I
it's-
think that's the thing, is like after we did it last year and now this year we've been through a whole year of doing it. Like I think we really know what we're doing
Yes.
now, and we
Yeah.
can help. And also for the people that are signing up for remote lessons, we can help them get the most out of
Right.
it, because we know what they need, and we know how to set up the
The
cameras
camera and
and
what-
The
Yes,
whole
it's
concept
been
of
great.
remote lessons in a lot of people's minds, they think, oh my God, is that like I'm going to watch YouTube videos?
Right,
Yeah,
right.
I'm going to watch the piano guy.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
how I'm going to learn how to play
Yeah,
piano.
that's not
Yeah.
what it is.
That's
No.
not it at all.
No.
It's like the teacher being right in the room with you.
yes.
Only they're not.
Yeah,
That's the only difference.
It's very
They're
individualized.
watching what they would
Right.
see if they were sitting right next to
Yeah.
you. They're
Yeah.
watching your hands. They're watching your head reading the music.
Yeah.
They're listening to you. They're listening to you count. They're seeing if you're counting or if you're starting to count and forgetting to count and
Yeah.
all that stuff that goes on.
And yes, there is a lag. So as far as us playing at the same time, it can be a problem sometimes. But we've learned how to do that even.
Well,
Yeah.
the cool
Because you
part
can-
is when you can time out the lag. Okay,
Yes,
I'm a
yes.
half a beat behind here, and then when you play, you adapt to that lag.
Yes.
It comes out
Yeah.
perfect, man.
Oh yeah, well,
it's kind of fun, actually.
it is.
You know.
I will say FaceTime they've done an update
Greatly
on
improved.
Yes, and
Yeah.
with that latency is like almost not even there.
Yeah.
Like it really is really close. So I've actually been able to play with my students a lot better on
Yeah.
FaceTime than I have before. And now you can do FaceTime. You can create a web link, so even if people don't have Apple products, they can still join your FaceTime call. And so
Wow.
I've started doing that with a few, just kind of testing
See, that's
it
what
out.
I
but
love
it's been
is
really
that
good.
we're teachers, but we're always learning and we're always
Yes.
looking for ways to make it better for our students.
Yeah.
And I think that's been the last couple of years. Really, it's just been so much growth for all of us in
Yes.
making these better. I send my students a lot of recordings. I write notes. I send all kinds of notes about their lessons, what my expectation is for the next lesson, and so it becomes. I always expected the students to write notes and take recordings and stuff in the lessons, and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So
right.
now I'm providing a lot of to them, and it's really made it. The students are more successful. I think it's really been
Definitely.
great.
And I think that we, without sounding proud or anything, we have the best students in Pensacola.
No, we do have
They're
good
great.
students.
I love
Yes.
They are just so wanting to learn, and that makes all the difference in the world.
Really
I had
does.
a woman who was in her 60s, and one day she's walking along the beach, and she goes, I want to play the drums. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like,
I love it.
talk about a bucket list moment, man. So I'm gonna call this guy and see what's up. And I talked to her on the phone. I'm like, yeah, man. We taught people in their 90s. That ain't no problem at all. So she comes in. She said, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna have an attitude that I know nothing, and I'm gonna be willing to learn.
Wow.
And willing to do whatever it takes to make it
Best
happen.
way to do it.
And she got in there and kicked butt.
Oh, she tore it up.
I don't think
awesome.
I've had a student zip through those exercises like that,
That's
like
awesome.
she did. It was
Yeah.
phenomenal. Rudiments,
Yeah.
reading the notes, understanding that.
Wow.
I said, like the first couple lessons, you get a student that's just clicking like that. You go, okay, look, this is great, but
Yeah, it's not gonna last.
you're gonna
Yeah,
reach
that's it.
that wall,
Right.
and it's gonna
Right.
go wham,
Right. Yeah.
So you be practicing now, so when that happens, it's not gonna shake you. It's not.
Exactly.
And she's like, yeah, okay, and she started going a little bit further. She's doing great, blowing my mind. I leave every lesson going, geez, that was great, man.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then she got to a point where oh man, this
Yeah.
Now it's hard.
is difficult.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not difficult, it's different,
It's different.
Well, that's
Yes,
what
it's
happens. See, the
challenge.
problem is if you start out lessons and you're only putting in so much effort, like you're putting in this much effort, and you have some natural ability or inclination or whatever, you don't know that you're riding on that, right?
Yeah.
So you think that this is how it is all the time. Then I can put in this much effort and I'll get this amount of results. And then what happens is eventually you burn up all the natural ability
Yeah.
and all of the the musical inclination and all that stuff that that you've got, and then that's when the rubber meets the road, and it's like now you got to really get to work. But then so you put in that little bit of effort that you've been doing this entire time, and it doesn't yield
not
the
enough.
results.
It's not
Right, it's not
enough.
enough, and that's when people go, "Oh my God, what is this?" And they get all
Yeah.
weirded out about it, and it's like, okay,
The point of elasticity.
you've reached it exactly. That's the point, and this is where everybody gets to at some
Yeah.
point or another. So now you see what it really takes to be able to play and be
go
successful.
further, right.
So it's not a
You,
good thing.
you've
it's not
been
a bad
telling
thing,
them the
it's just a
whole
thing.
time about practicing
Right.
every day,
Right.
and counting all the time,
Using the
and
metronome,
using the
and
metronome.
yeah.
And like a lot of them, because of the natural ability, they're like, yeah.
That's it.
And then they hit that point, and it's like, oh man, like what do I do? And
Yeah, right. And you sit
Are
there
you
and go,
counting?
okay, have you been listening this
Yeah.
whole
Yeah.
time? I mean, you got to
Yeah.
count. Are you using the metronome? Are you practicing every day? And then that's when it's like, that's when it finally hits that like, oh, okay, all this stuff you've been saying all this time, now I actually got to do it, And so, and that's a hard part sometimes, just because the expectations. It's not if people would change then their expectations, at that point, then I don't think it wouldn't be a negative thing in their mind.
Well, as I
You
told
know.
her, I said, look, if you're uncomfortable at lessons, because of the stuff you're having to do, I'm doing my job.
There you
Yes.
go. Yeah.
Pushing her
If I'm a
outside,
good teacher,
yeah.
I'm always going to stretch you.
That's it.
If you come in and you just walk through everything, and what do you need me for?
Exactly.
I mean, you're not growing. you know?
Exactly. Yeah.
I always
you gotta
talk
get
about
pushed.
dropping a pebble in a pond, a smooth glass, and then all those ripples go out.
Yeah.
That each one of those ripples represents a skill level.
Right.
And you go out to the next one, and you go out to the next one, you go out to the next one, and then pretty soon you're way out here, and you got all these skills.
Right.
Good. It's a
And,
good analogy.
that's just what happens with people. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was great. That was an encouraging thing this
Good.
year.
Well, I just love students like that that learn so quickly and
Yeah.
come at it. She had the right attitude.
She had a very good attitude.
From the
yes.
start, she had a great attitude. So that just only, recipe for success, and she did. She succeeded.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
excellent.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Awesome. Well, some other things that happened this year that I thought would be worth mentioning. Dad's been busy.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his albums.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
songs.
Dad's been working
Yeah.
on some new music.
Yes,
So
very much.
if you haven't seen it, you need to go follow him on Spotify. Ron Kaye, follow him on Spotify, Apple Music. People are getting into Tidal now, so if you're getting into Tidal, do it. Check him out on Tidal. We get more money off of Tidal. So everybody needs to become Tidal fans because the musicians make more money on Tidal. But everywhere, YouTube Music, it's up on the YouTube page. If you're watching us on YouTube, you should check out the page. But yeah, what did you got? Yeah, Heart's Desire.
I
You
went
got 2
into the
minutes of your
blues.
time.
So
Yeah,
it's the 2 minutes of your time,
yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
and then Heart's Desire,
Mm-hmm.
and then coming out the 17th or the 15th is Just a Memory featuring Joshua Kaye on guitar.
Yes.
So what I find is that I see a lot of people who know Joshua Kaye watching the posts. They want to, they want to know what Joshua's been up to. So this is really good. This is great. We work really hard on these songs.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love, but it's really intense work. It's really hard.
Well, any kind of studio work, if you're going to do it and it's going to be a certain quality, it's going to take, it takes a bit of effort, a good bit of effort. The last one that we just recorded, when you first gave me the part and I was like, okay, I know what I'm going to do, and I started doing it and we sat down to do that first session, it was just like nothing was happening.
Yeah.
And I said, all right, I'm going to have to actually practice.
That's a banjo part.
Yeah.
In a song called Nashville, which is a blues-oriented song, but it's
got country elements.
rock.
Yeah. Oh, you guys are gonna love it.
It's really a great representation of the sounds that come out of Nashville mixed with some blues, and I think it's phenomenal. But that banjo part, that was going to require some work.
Yeah,
and you
took some time.
When I didn't have to spend that much time on it, I should be able to knock this out.
That was it. Well, because that was the Heart's Desire. I did that in one take, so it was like, so I thought, I got this recording thing down.
The wake-up call.
That's
That one took a lot, but man, the finished result's going to be awesome.
There you go. So looking forward to the new year, putting out some new music, and I hope that, I know you guys are going to enjoy it, and we want you to share it with everybody, because that's the thing, is like you can't go a day without music. We all connect to music. We identify with music. Music brings us up.
We're a musical family.
That's it. And
we
so
love what we do.
exactly. So we know that you're gonna love it. So we look forward to putting that out in the new year. Look forward to another year of good teaching, good students.
Good coffee.
Yes, good
coffee. Yeah. Oh man, we're set up
Keep
right.
the coffee coming.
Keep the coffee coming. Exactly. Yeah, we'll happily review any coffee that you bring our way. So we'll take it. Very good. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Thank you so much for your time. Be sure that you visit us on social media. Ron Kaye's Music Instruction. It's on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure that you like and subscribe. Recommend this to your friends if you've enjoyed it. And you're listening to us on the podcast. Make sure you're following us so you get all of the latest episodes. Check out Ron Kaye on Spotify and Apple Music. And if you're interested in lessons, no matter where you are in the world, we can do it. MusicLessonsPensacola.com. Music lessons are for everyone, and you can do it. Everybody can do it. It's a great thing. So thank you very much for your time, And we will see you next time on Coffee with the Kays.